Hello, hello, mis cielitos, and welcome back. Coco is here, and I am continuing a raging loop. Let me hop out chat, then we'll get visual going. Alright. Hello, Zeddy. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for coming. So we now have all the keys and are on the path to the true end. And hopefully everything will be answered. As I was looping back, I actively thought to myself for the first time, it seems that was enough. It seemed the plan had finally come together. At the end of the long, long loop, I saw a brilliant light. We'll finish this together. All that was left was to meet that person. Here we go! Hello, Xerox. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for coming. I shook my head, chasing away the thing, the delusion clinging to my head. What is it?
What? What is that?
Her voice was shaking. Did she see a spider or something? I followed her outside. Call for that person. All right, I remembered it now. I went outside, ignored the monster, and shouted, "Sheep! Sheep!" Suddenly, the world turned gray, and that person appeared before me. You dumbass! You dumbass! You dumbass! There you are! 3 dumbasses! That's mean! Read the mood! I ain't Ogon Bat! I told you never to come back here again! Oh, so each of the 3 was for a separate thing. I see. What now, huh? Huh? What do we do about this? There's no way to recover. We don't have to. Huh? I have everything figured out. I said that with a serious tone. Wait, does that matter now? Look, the monster's launching some beams now! Ow, my eyeballs. There goes the city. What's with your attitude? You went against the warning, so that's your responsibility, you sheep shit idiot. I got called sheep shit by a sheep? You're all dead. I'll kill you right now. You need time to solve this thing, right? Huh? Resolving this incident wouldn't be easy. There were 3 things that had to be done. I had to stop the people of Yasumisu from killing each other in the feast. I had to deal with the master of the loop, who wanted the monster's resurrection. And I had to deal with the Miguruma, the leaders of the feast. The first one would be the hardest. I had to prepare for it, for the big act. Sheep, I need your help. Can you send me as far back as possible? I told you there wouldn't be a second time. They'll notice me if I do it now. That's fine. Huh? Let them know. The only risk of doing that is that you won't be able to control the dream again. That means that you and me both would be taken in by the loop, no longer store our memories, and just repeat the same things. Ya ain't wrong. So I'll go back using your powers, and you'll be noticed and consumed by the dream. But it'll all be fine if I just solve the problem, right? There are 3 problems. First, I have no idea how much time before the starting point I can go back to. Could be just a few hours. Next, it'd be a gamble whether you'll keep your memories. There's no guarantee they won't be lost when I manipulate the dream. Lastly, you sure you can solve it all? Don't mess around! I'm just not sure if I can do this flawlessly. I'll do it for sure, though. At worst, I'll suffer some damage, but, well, I'll still pull it off, I guess. Guessing won't do. And I'll guarantee I'll do it. In exchange, you swear that you'll do your part. At worst, give me at least 1 whole day since the starting point, and make my memories as complete as possible. If I lose just one thing, my guarantee will be void. Don't get uppity with me now. Well, if I don't turn it back, this country will be over. You knowingly left me no other choice, didn't ya? Yes. I'd say this kind of resolve is actually necessary to beat this bad guy. Mess up and I'll kill ya, got it? Yes. Fine. Shit from a million sheep. Wait, hold on! Get up. Drowning in 1 million tons of shit is how you deserve to die after what you pulled. 1 ton per sheep? Just how many months worth of shit is that? 100 million it is. I'm sorry! My apology went unheard. Shit. Shit. Huh? I woke up. This unpleasant awakening and the general discomfort in the room. It was that awful inn I'd visited. Ba-da-da-da-da. Whoa, wait a second. Why did voices turn on? Awake, I see. Whoa. A hostess came in? Just like that. At least it wasn't that needlessly energetic proprietress. Oh, maybe we'll see. Last night sure was fun. It's been a while, so I assume I don't really remember it. That's for the best. I don't want to remember it.
Hi.
Excuse me? Nothing. Just talking to myself. Would you like some breakfast? I'm good, thank you. Staying again? I'd rather die.
寂しい。
How sad. I'll point about 50 people I don't like to this place, so you can take care of them.
超助かる。
That'd help. I'm checking out.
毎度あり。
Thank you. What was with this place? Anyway, since I was staying here, that meant... I checked the calendar on my phone and found out that it was Saturday, May 10th. I'd get lost at the mountain on the night of the 11th, and the mist would come at the evening of the 12th. And from what I could tell, I could remember everything. From what I recalled, this was Chiami's first restarting point. I was upset I couldn't tell her about this, but I hoped she remembered everything too. Anyway, it looked like the sheep did what it had to. Now I just have to fix the problem. Well, it'd work out. I wrote something down and left the inn. It was a list containing things I needed and things I had to do to solve the problem. I knew the 3 things I had to do pretty well. I had to stop the people of Yasumizu from killing each other in the feast. I had to deal with the Master of the Loop, who wanted the monster's resurrection. And I had to deal with the Miguruma, the leaders of the feast. Things wouldn't be solved if at least one of them wasn't cleared, and unlike before, I only had one chance. It'd be pretty boring if I messed up after all this resolution. I'd just take it easy. Humming the song of the same name, I slowly parked my bike. After filling up the tank at the nearest place, I looked at the map again. The main road was packed right now. I had to pick the quickest route while avoiding it. I didn't know the lay of the land, but I knew my destination, so it wouldn't be hard to get there. From my current perspective, the me from months ago, had abandoned all responsibility and just wandered aimlessly out of frustration and an abundance of free time. I was different now. I had a goal, a place I had to go to, and people who needed me. Thus, I didn't have to hesitate anymore. I had to hurry. To Fujiyoshi. The misty place once called the Werewolf Village. The misty Garden of God. Yay! All right. I went without any breaks, stopping only to refuel, and finally arrived. Honestly, I could barely stand. My thirst and hunger were way worse. I had to rest at least once. Seriously. My thoughts were dulled. I needed to raise my blood sugar. But there was something I had to do before that. Hey, bestie! Hello. Come back, sheep! Huh? Huh? What the hell you saying, huh? What? You thought I wouldn't figure it out? You're the sheep, aren't you? I don't know what you're talking about. Get out! I'm amazed you're trying to talk your way out of this while acting like that. Oh well. How'd you know? You're the only woman with such insane fashion sense around these parts. The locals gotta go to 100 yen shops for their fashion. And no person without ulterior motives would recommend that road. That's all? What a stretch. Sorry. Anyway, give me something to eat. You can have the almost expired stuff for free. Loyal to the role, huh? Shut it. I'll take the freebies, but I'd like to order some strange things. This is a convenience store. I gotta say that, you know? Now, as if it matters at this point. Damn, you're a pain. Here's a note. What the hell? Piss off with this shit. How much is it gonna cost? Can't get it. Just wait. Thank you. Leave the rest to me. You sure you're gonna go in that state? Couldn't you rest a bit? Do I look that bad? No, actually, you look like you're ready to take on the world, and that's what worries me. Don't overdo it and snap under the pressure. Sorry for making you worry. By the way, I just realized that I might have been used by you people without realizing it. Huh? Why am I the one apologizing? Don't worry about it. This little... Well, whatever. I just want to be able to end it with a, that was fun. By the way, did the enemy find you? They've realized something's wrong. I'm on the run right now, but they'll have me soon. Their enemy was the mastermind, the creator of the loop. She was probably fighting her own battle already, one beyond my area of expertise. Well, I'll run as fast as I can. Maybe it'll be a good distraction while you do your thing. That'll help a lot. Please do so. Can I ask something now? Sure, go ahead. How long are ya gonna continue this act? This is the last time. Well, if you come back alive, I'll spare you the punch. She used me for all I was worth and said she'd punch me if I died. It was kind of amazing, really. I couldn't tell if she was one hell of a tsundere or just insane. See ya. Yeah. I hid my impression and just got back to my bike. The tons of stuff I had on me made a rustling sound. Through my dozens of times of being killed by Chiemi, I had memorized the path here so well that I was sick of it. I passed the small overpass, stopped my bike at the boulder, and took off my helmet. This might have been in Okiba too, a sign leading to Fushiyoshi and Yasumisu. I placed the bike under a tree by the side of the road, placed what I had on the ground, and locked the bike. Then I hung the helmet's ring over the chain lock. After that, I opened the large mountaineering bag and took out whatever I needed right now. A headlamp. It was a bit big, but fit well, shone bright, lasted long, and was resistant to water. And this was a mountaineering stick. I'd already unpacked it in the store. I had to make sure I didn't get hurt. With my time becoming limited, I had to buy safety with money. I put on the backpack, putting the weight of all the stuff in it on my shoulders. I had to hurry. I'd waste an entire hour just getting there. The distant sounds of water became louder, and I finally made my way through the darkness and arrived at Saranaga Rapids. I unhesitantly took off my pants, got in some loose trunks, and covered my feet in work tabi and climbing sandals. I placed my clothes in the waterproof backpack, closed it, and put it on again. Through my fights with Chiemi, I had found out that crossing Saranaga was pretty dangerous. It'd be too pathetic if I fell and died here. I just couldn't let that happen. Anyway, it was time to go. All the rustling coming from the backpack felt like someone was laughing at me, saying that my worries were for nothing, and that I was jumping at shadows. The cold stream of May numbed my skin, and it felt like it was trying to sap the warmth from my body. But I couldn't give up. If I did, this would all have been for nothing. Too many people would suffer. However, I wasn't motivated by some sort of justice, a sense that I had to protect them. I was just interested in the fact that this struggle would end up saving so many lives. It was an amazing trade. I also wanted to get even with some people and set myself free of this one-sided obligation. It was a selfish motivation, but that was exactly why I could give my all to it. I made it through the water and reached the other side. Naturally, there was no girl sawing off her shotguns here, or the flashlight she brought. Not this day, anyway. I arrived. Everything was as expected so far. No. I dropped the climbing stick in the water, so that wasn't great. It was within my margin for error, though. I had to calm down. Getting distracted by my mistakes would keep me from focusing. I looked at my phone. It was out of service range, of course. The time was 12:53 a.m. Pretty early. It'd work out. I changed my clothes and shoes and got on the cliff. Shit. My memory told me that the cliff was the most dangerous place, especially for a non-local like myself. I tried to be careful, obviously, but the other stick I used for climbing broke. I almost fell and reflexively used my hands, cutting them on the sharp stone. After making it up the cliff, I took out some whiskey, disinfected the wounds, and applied some first aid with a handkerchief. Thinking about what I'd do next, this wound was really painful. Maybe I had to loop back and... Of course that line of thinking would become habitual. It was a good thing I over-prepared. I had only one life now, so I had to keep that in mind. With that slight shift in mentality, I got back to work. The first one of the 3 objectives. I had to stop the people of Yasumisu from killing each other in the feast, and this was actually the hardest thing to do. Thus, I had to be both extremely careful and extra prepared. I would be proving a hypothesis. I was really pissed I hadn't thought of this sooner. I'd have loved to try it when resetting was still an option, but I was pretty confident I was right. If it wasn't here, it had to be in another place that I knew well, but this one seemed way more likely. I began preparing. I took out the 20-meter-long climbing rope. I had 5 spares, 100 meters in the bag, too. Of course, they took up the most space in the backpack. Freeing one of them up, I tied it up as if I was preparing to hang someone in the feast. Passing one swivel ring through the rope, and hanging the other on another climbing rope, I made a 40-meter rope. It was enough to cover a cliff this tall. With this, I now had a way down below the hanging pine. I fixed the stopper I'd already tied to my waist on the rope, and created a lifeline for myself. At least I thought I did, but I had no experience with this. Still, I had to do it. Holding onto the rope, I began slowly going down. At first, I spun around, messed up while handling the stopper, slid down a few times, and was generally on the verge of getting myself killed. Eventually, I began stopping the spin by touching the grass and branches on the cliff, and figured out how to rappel down slowly. Finding what I was looking for while climbing down was hard work. I felt water drop on my forehead and thought it was rain, only to realize it was actually blood from my hands. Ooh, falling from the rope above me. That made me keenly aware of the pain and pressure from using my aching hands. It brought back my exhaustion, drowsiness, and muscle pain. It came with a mental fatigue, and it couldn't have come at a worse time. Why was I doing this? The stupidity of it came back to me. What if this was all for nothing? Of course it was. Shit. Shit, shit, shit! Before I knew it, I was muttering some profanities. I felt like it would help me shake off the urge to cry, the pain, the misery, the patheticness. Even so, it had to be here. The entrance had to be close. All the people of Yasumiso had taken it for granted that people had to be hanged from the pine. That wasn't word of mouth or anything. It was an idea that came naturally, and it was with them their whole lives. That meant that this was pretty much the work of God. However, the idea of hanging one side of the rope on the tree, the other on the neck, and pushing the victim off felt illogical. Were they doing it because the only cleanup they had to do then was cutting the rope? Well, during the feast, the corpses did fall to Saranaga every now and then. The lack of sound had to be God's doing, but that wasn't always the case. Some corpses had been caught on the cliff or fell on the riverbank. Whenever that happened, the body was not only not cleaned up, it became a very real bother, reeking and full of disease. If you just wanted to hang the victim, all you had to do was pull the rope over a branch and pull it up. That was often done outside of here. If what mattered to them was dropping the body in Saranaga, then pushing them off was enough. Even if they were just focusing on making a kill certain, there weren't many times they could actually do this. I didn't think that a murder method that had only been done every several dozen or so years would become part of Yasumiso's common soul. That seemed especially unlikely when, for the past 500 years or so, the locals only used the feast to control the local community. In that case, I imagined that the truth was different. The hanging wasn't for killing. It was to meet God. That unique way of praying, where they joined their hands and hid their faces, had to represent the remains of the lifeline they'd held before God. Thus, I'd surely arrive there if I went down. I'd believe that. Believe. Suddenly, something appeared. About midway down the cliff, one of the links between the climbing rope, I found a large boulder sticking out from the bottom directly across from me. It was large enough to stand on. There were pine saplings on it, probably the children of the hanging pine. It looked suspicious. I had to get there. So I began swinging. Moving my legs and waist, I slowly created a swinging motion. The climbing rope made noises as I clung to it. The fear of it disconnecting and the fear of hitting the boulder struggled violently, but I managed to ignore them. When the swing was good enough, I waited for when I was over the boulder and stuck my legs out. I ended up having to grab onto the little pines, and my hands hurt like hell because of the prickliness, but that didn't matter now. I adjusted my headlamp and started examining the place more thoroughly. Bingo. Right behind all the growth here, there was an aged wooden torii. Yeah, I felt my vigor return, but I needed to press on. Behind the torii, there was an aged door, sealed by decayed chains. I pulled on it, and the chains just broke, letting me go in. There was no way to hide a god, people of Fujiyoshi. I opened the door wide, hunched down, and stuck my head into the hole. It was big enough for a crouching adult to pass through. It was a hole in the side of the cliff, angled slightly upward. It was an artificial place created by digging through the rock here. It was dry inside, probably due to the slope and the door protecting it. All right. It wasn't exactly what I expected, but it was pretty damn close. Now I needed to secure a way to get out of here from the bottom, create a camp, and take away the route from the top. Thankfully, the young trees here were firmly planted and had large trunks, so I could easily tie a climbing rope around them and make my way down. With this and that, I successfully went down to the riverside below. I then got back up to the hanging pine, got my stuff, and took care of the climbing rope. Some would come to the graveyard before the mist began, so they'd know something was up if they saw the rope. It'd all go to waste then. I had to hide until the mist came. This, too, was part of stopping the people of Yasumizu from killing each other in the mist. It was absolutely necessary for the cause. I began creating the riverside camp. Actually, it was on the rocky area above the riverbed. They couldn't see me from the top if I was here, and a flood due to rain wouldn't be a problem. Though it wasn't much of a camp, I just took out a blanket and lay down. After drinking some bottled water, I looked at my phone. It was past 3 on Sunday night. There would be rain in 24 hours, and Saranaga would gain some water. I had to get everything done in the hole until then, and prepare for the great act. But, well, it was enough for today. Man, I'm tired. I arrived at Yasumizu a day earlier than normal, and confirmed a theory of mine. All that was left now was to enhance the proof, and prepare the fakery. I could just go to sleep for now. I'd have to do things right after the night cleared, so I'd set a timer and just nap rather than sleep. There. Good night. Let's hope you don't sleep through the alarm. I mean, you definitely need to get rest, so this isn't a judgment, but show a fear. I easily woke up to the sound of my alarm. Okay, good. Honestly, the hard sensation on my back made it nearly impossible to sleep. Even so, though I thought I'd wake up with the morning sun, it just didn't come here. The settlement was right between 2 mountains, so of course it wouldn't get much sunlight. I was still sleepy, but this was the fated day. I drank down the rest of the bottle and got some calories out of some sweet bread. First, I had to take care of my wounds. Surrounded by a dim light, I took off the handkerchief on my right hand and treated the festering wound. I wanted to wash it off with Saranaga's water, but I felt like the hole in the middle of the cliff might have not been the only reason why the stream was considered corrupted. I washed it off with water from a new bottle instead. Then I put some more disinfectant and a fresh bandage on it. It had been messed up while I'd been climbing yesterday. I then grabbed my friend the headlamp and checked whether the stopper, a potential lifesaver, worked properly. With that, I was ready. Upon climbing up to the hole, I went inside and turned on the lamp. I then tried going up the upward slanted hill. After some distance, the hill started slanting down. It might have been done to prevent rainwater from flowing in. And the inside, it was like I'd expected. There was a pile of fist-sized stones. I had to remove them all. It had to be possible. It'd been done by human hands, after all, and a whole 6 centuries ago, too. Though I would feel kind of bad about it. What I was about to do was basically tomb writing. But then I had a thought. Someone who was about to kill God had no business talking about irreverence. To make the job easier, I took out a small shovel from the stuff I'd brought. I'd brought a collapsible bucket, too, but it didn't look like I could use it. After thinking for a bit, I took out the waterproof inner bags from the backpack, then transported the stones using the outer bag. After filling a bag with lots of rocks, I crawled outside and turned it upside down. This was effective and didn't put too much strain on my hands' wounds. Though hard labor in a tight space certainly wasn't easy. The lack of sleep and fatigue were getting to me, and I wasn't sure I was working fast enough. I wanted to go home after repeating this just 3 times. Even so, I'd do my best. I wanted to go back after all. Come on, ancient people. Just how much did you have to bury it under? I know it's to prevent a god from escaping, but can't you at least consider the archaeologists who'd look for it? Yeah. Not likely. I began talking to myself more. Was it a sign of something dangerous? Or was I safe as long as I recognized it myself? It'd be bad if I started hearing the voice of God, or Psycho Chamey. I considered singing something, but stopped when I almost began singing Prayer to Shania. That felt like a one-way trip to madness. Weird. I didn't know if it was because of what I was thinking, but I began hearing auditory hallucinations. It was a crying girl.
The return point was now Sunday morning. The moment Mako-chan wanders in had become the new routine. I still didn't see a way out.
It came back to me, though it wasn't like I'd completely forgotten it. It just slipped my mind. This was the morning when Mako wandered in. What was I to do? If she cried here, someone who heard her would come over, surely. If that happened, they'd find my stuff, and me as well. I'd look like a weirdo doing weird things, and with a girl at my side at that. What was up with that role? Was I some sort of kidnapper about to bury a child? I had to secure her myself. Anyway, mission start.
My leg hurts. I'm so hungry. How far do I have to run? Where's the doggy? The wolf is so scary.
Hey!
Huh?
I called out to you, but what do I do now?
Who?
A local.
A local?
This seemed familiar. No, my name is Haruaki Fusaishi. Uh-huh. Sure.
Fusaishi.
That's it. Haruaki Fusaishi.
Fusayuki!
No.
Fusayuki-san!
Fine, call me that. Where'd she get that "you" from, anyway? Fusayuki felt like some sort of anonymous message board mascot's name. Are you hungry? Eat my face!
Buh?
Huh? Did that joke not work on modern children?
I won't eat people. They're not tasty.
With my joke missing the mark so badly, I myself became flustered. Okay then, I have some food. Come here.
Huh? Usayuki-san, are you a wolf?
That reminded me that she was afraid of wolves that were completely unrelated to the ones in Fujiyoshi. Well, I wasn't one of those wolves either. But if I said that, it'd make things more complicated later. I'm not the wolf you're afraid of.
Really?
Yeah. I'm a good wolf. Nom nom nom. Oh, honey. Nom 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 nom. Hey, that's what happens when you don't eat properly. Eat slower, Meiko-chan. Here, wipe yourself.
Is that me?
Oh, sorry. What's your name?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, you didn't know her name or where she lived. So you're a lost cat, huh?
Cat?
That's the animal you think about when someone's lost, right?
I'm not a cat.
Right, you're saying ba, so I guess you're a sheep?
Sheep are successes.
Successes? What? And talking of the sheep reminded me of her. What the hell was up with her? It's bad to not know your name.
You can call me Mako.
Then I guess I will.
You're a good wolf.
Yep, I'm a good wolf.
Bad wolves need to be killed.
Yeah, wait, no. What a scary thing to say. What kind of environment had she grown up in? Meiko-chan, you shouldn't say kill that easily.
I shouldn't.
Yep, killing is a scary thing to do.
Harry is bad.
Good girl. Instead, you should say that you're gonna beat him up.
Beat?
Yep. What's with the buzz, anyway?
Paddle.
I don't get it.
Strange?
More like something you don't see every day. Nah, it's fine. Teach the child to be aggro.
Don't see every day.
Lost children are like kittens.
I'm lost.
Yep. And most men all fall for lost kittens.
Meow meow. Meow meow.
That's a cat, alright. It's fine. Don't force yourself. If you're strong enough, you can be whoever you want to be.
That's hard.
Sorry. The conversation sure went off the rails. Probably shouldn't have brought that up to a child. Would I also become a father to someone someday? What a scary thought. Are you full?
Yeah.
Good. I just ran out of bread. Wait, you ate it all?
Oh, I didn't leave any for you.
It's fine. I already ate.
Sorry.
You're a good girl, huh?
Good girl?
Yep, it's a good thing. You can do whatever you want, but in the end, everyone forgives you.
Huh?
But you shouldn't be too good, either. God will notice you.
Too good is bad.
Yep, you should be a good girl who's a bit bad.
A good girl who's a bit bad.
Yeah, this is fun. Jamie! Huh? Kaini popped out of nowhere. Sneaked in here, basically. She slipped on some rocks and was all wet. In her hand, there was a knife. Hold on. Are you the Jamie that's overcome by despair to the point of wanting to kill me?
Huh? Oh, what?
Yeah, I figured if I killed you for a little splashing this time.
It's bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
Beat him up.
Huh? Huh? What's this?
Wait, why are you here at this time? And with Mako, too.
Wait,
Why did the starting point reset? Huh?
calm down, Jamie-chan.
Huh?
Oh. Oh yeah. The fun times are over. She disinterestedly threw the knife into Saranaga. That's dangerous.
It'll be useless this time anyway.
It won't.
Why?
Because this is the final loop. Her eyebrows furrowed in confusion and worry.
Loop?
Sorry. I'm gonna talk about something complicated.
With her?
At least tell her it's back to hardcore mode now. Yep, that's an important detail.
With her?
Yeah. Why am I being menaced?
Because you don't understand women.
Wait, that's just... Huh?
It's fine. I'll play over there.
Try not to get swept away. I really wanted to keep watch over her. But this was probably my last chance to meet up with Jamie. A good act needed some hired hands, after all.
So, why were you showing your darkest parts to Mako-chan?
It was just fun. I mean,
Ew, that freaks me out so much I'm actually sane again.
Anyway, there's something we gotta talk about.
I see you're as casual as always. Anyway, answer my question. What did you mean by last loop?
Exactly that. Things happen, and this is our last one. And with it, we have one final chance. If we mess this up, my memories will probably start to reset, just like everyone else besides you. I'll forget you and become just a guy who crashed his bike and ended up in the village.
Huh? What? Wait. That's just... No, I don't want that. I'll be all alone again.
It won't happen.
Why?
Because I'll solve everything this time. What?
You're overdoing it. Acting too cool.
I didn't mean to.
Anyway, you watch too many movies and TV series. How many hundreds of times do you think we failed?
There's no way to work out so easily. It's not easy. I've already worked really hard. This is actually the conclusion of all the other loops that failed. Don't you think we have the qualifications and skills to finally end this?
Skills?
Yeah. I'll need your help to finish this.
As if I can help you. I've just spent all my time looping meaninglessly and just getting in your way.
You're holding some kind of grudge? What are you, my ex?
That's what I think, yeah.
Well, I couldn't deny that we were kinda close a bunch of deaths ago. You have what it takes. You have a vengeful defiance against God, built up over countless loops. That'll be settled too, of course.
Huh?
Your anger and resolve will end it. Shoot God with this. I took out some ammo and handed it to her.
Huh? 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 When? Where? Who?
You'll know when the time comes. Fall off your shotgun and wait until then.
Wait, I don't get it. Explain. What are you doing here?
I can't say that now.
Why?
I can't say that either. After all, she was from Yasumisu. That made her an enemy. In fact, she was the enemy in this case. She didn't have to know what I needed help. She didn't have to know that I needed help for my act. It'd be bad if she did. Otherwise, she wouldn't be able to fulfill her role in this. Everything's at the Kombini, even God's slaying shotgun. Though I know I probably shouldn't be the one to say this. But just this one time, I want you to believe me. That's my final request. I looked into her eyes. She closed hers, thought about it for a bit, shook her head to shake something off, and nodded.
All right.
Thank you.
Just so you know, pulling that off is pretty hard. When I do, I'd like a good reward and an explanation.
Now that's a familiar line.
It's been so long ago that you forgot.
No, you got me there. What would you want for a reward?
Can you introduce me to a nice man?
Leave it to me.
Guess I'll just wait and see what happens next.
Can you take Mako to Yasumisu too?
So that wasn't your last request at all.
This is an extra to that.
Oh well, I was the one who found her last time too.
Why'd you come to Saranaga?
I couldn't find my place. Hey, don't make me say that.
Sorry. No one else will come here, right?
Right. Maybe Rikako-san to pay respects. Still, she should be busy with Mako-chan today.
Okay, then there's no problem.
What's that rope?
A secret.
All right, you villain. Is that all?
It is.
Mako-chan, come with me.
Our conversation ended there. He soon dragged Mako away, so I said, "See ya," but neither of them even looked at me. Resolve. Resolve. I had to introduce her to a good guy after all. I had another actor now. All that was left was physical labor. I continued hauling the rocks. After all, I didn't know just how deep this hole was, or how many rocks there were left. Nothing would be stupider than running out of time at this point. Even if there was nothing there at the end of this, I had to find out as soon as possible. The answer to one of the final two mysteries had to be right here. And if it was exactly what I expected, I could get a weapon to finally get the better of God. My hands hurt, and the dusty cave made my eyes and throat feel unpleasant. But strangely enough, I felt vigorous. Strange considering that nothing much had changed from how it was in the morning. I didn't forget to drink and eat. Mako ate the bread, so I had to do with what I usually did. I wanted to eat veggies and meat. I wanted to rewatch some DVDs and flashes. I had to get some new shoes and get a good shelf in my room. I miss flashes. As I worked, my mind was filled with unrelated idea. In that case, I had to return and get myself some good money. These thoughts raised my total motivation a lot. I'd solve this. I'd end this. I'd go back. I'd be giving myself a really long vacation here. Now I wanted to stretch, hop on my bike, and get on the slow road back home. I'd go back like I came, alone. Even so, I'd have lost the emptiness by then. In the afternoon, there was a period when it was a bit sunny here, but as the evening came, that faded too. It'd be a rain tonight. I didn't want to lose my stuff to a flood, so I put it all in a waterproof bag and went back to work. My fatigue was at its limit. Even so, I continued digging and tossing aside the rocks. It continued until after nightfall. But then, there were no more rocks. Instead, there was a layer of sand. Around two, huh? The ancient people sure were clever. But I was close. I was sure of it. For now, though, I would rest. Normally, this would be the time I'd be getting myself drunk silly at Chiami's, or the officer's place. Back then, I really didn't expect that I'd end up doing public works here. The fatigue and muscle pain were just murderous. But I was so fulfilled that I found it kind of pleasant. I slept within the cave. The next day, I woke up with such brutal muscle pain that I couldn't even move. I hadn't been like this since 2 years ago when I'd gone skiing for the first time. I had no choice, so I spent around 30 minutes stretching, then left the cave. I charged my phone with a disposable battery and checked the time to find out that it was 6 in the morning. I had about 10 hours left. I'd find it. I began digging through the sand. I dug. I examined the sand for anything significant. I couldn't throw away the sand, so I pushed it to the side. If I didn't find anything, I might have had to use the sand itself as proof of divinity. But it turned out that I didn't have to worry. After a few hours, I finally found it. So, we finally meet. Shinai-sama. No, that name is heresy to you. You should be called this instead. Okami-sama. Deep within the parted sand, I faced the thing inside. It was a skull. A human skull, pure white, and without a single scratch on it. It was almost definitely divine. You'll see the light of day later, but don't worry. It won't be long now. Wait alongside your family, too. I carefully pushed it to the side, and began digging again. A hit. I found more and more bones the more I dug. There were 3 skulls in total. I didn't know if it was all the sand here or the dryness of the place. But despite being 6 centuries old, they still kept their original shapes and glittered like sacred ashes. If I wasn't careful, I could break them. But I felt like I had to beg these Okami-sama for strength. The strength to kill them. And found it. I found it. A relic left by these Okami-sama. I was certain of my victory now. I gently returned the remains of the soon-to-be ex-god to the sand and left the cave. I was finally at the decisive moment. The preparations were complete. Now, I needed to create a good, no, the best ending. The first step, to stop the people of Yasumizu from killing each other in the feast. I would call it, I'm Not Afraid of Wolves, starring Haruaki Fusaishi, co-starred by 2 ladies that happened to join in. I would put up a good fight and kill a god.
Jinai-san's guardians are 1 snake, 2 monkey, 3 crow, 4 spider. Good job. Well done. One-chan. Oh, it's Fusayuki-san. Fusayuki-san!
Meiko-chan, come with me.
Yay! Don't! Why?
He's... Yaemi Serisawa.
Shut up! Shut up!
She pulled out a gun and pointed at me. Her eyes were those she had when looking at God. It was made even worse by the fact that she saw God in herself too. That would be over soon. Now's not the time. Look, the mists of Saranaga are about to overflow. That would be the moment I so desired.
Shut up!
Call everyone.
What are you planning?
I'll end everything. Now go. Meiko, you come to me.
Huh?
This time, Jamie didn't stop her. She just silently turned around.
Fusayuki-san, what's that face?
This mask? Cool, huh? I'm about to do my job as a wolf. Can you help me?
Yeah, what do I do?
Act like a good wolf.
Act like a good wolf.
When I touch your shoulder, howl like a wolf.
Woof woof?
No, it's...
Oh! Oh! Okay.
Everyone will be very surprised.
I don't get it.
You will soon. Now let's wait for everyone.
Okay.
They gathered. Oh, perfect timing. The mist had passed the cliff and mixed with the evening sun. The northernmost part of the Yasumizu settlement, bordering on the Bloodwater Rapids, the graveyard of the Hanging Pine. This was the scene of their original sin. It was a scene necessary for their death. This is absurd. No way. God. What's that? Well, awesome. They were scared. They were humbled. They knew. The god within them wouldn't allow them to look away. You, what the hell are you? Even so, some tried to resist. This was a very wrong thing to do. So they couldn't even begin to do that. Resisting was a bad thing.
Wolf came.
Strangely enough, he ended up not being wrong. I brought them. Thank you. Now. Hello, people of Yasumizu. I thought longing hard about this, but I decided to go with whatever felt natural. I am a Yomotsu Okami. I spoke using modern language. With the evening mist and sun behind me, I began talking while wearing the 6th-century-old relic. This is a day of mist. You would prepare for the feast and go to sleep. Then starting tomorrow, you would search for us, hiding among you, and try to hang us. I lightly tapped Mako's shoulder. As expected, everyone shook like struck by lightning. Apologies. My wife currently has other business, so we too will be the only ones here. While you try to hang us, we would try to massacre you, one each night, to settle the score of an ancient grudge.
How dreadful.
That is what you've been taught by your ancestors, and that is what you would teach your children. Now, I came here because I want you to stop. Please never again hold a feast of the Yomi Purge. Oh. Their faces were exactly what I expected. Please don't despair. We never actually wanted a feast of the Yomi Purge, did we?
Oh, we didn't.
Ad-libbing it, eh?
Oh, Kami-sama. I am the representative, Yamawaki.
Yes, I know. Nice to meet you, Tai Yamawaki-san. She gasped so hard she forgot to breathe for a moment. Mako is knocking it out of the park.
You say we do not need to do the feast anymore, but why do we?
I see why you are curious. Allow me to speak and tell you the truth. A long, long time ago, there lived a god here. It was a mischievous god who fooled people, picked on them, and sometimes even devoured them, starting with the head. Thus the mountain was its sacred ground. It was a dreadful place where no human dared tread. However, humans grew in number and lived as they always did. Eventually, the mountain was visited by hunters who wanted to find a new home and place to live. Soon enough, there was a small village here. Of course, the god didn't like that. It sent wild animals, mountain dogs, and even the wolves that recently disappeared to torture them. That was when the humans sacrificed 3 of their own. I, my wife, and our little girl here accepted it. If everyone could live happily after our sacrifice, we had no reason to hesitate. That was the most painful lie. It couldn't have been true. The Okami-sama must have wanted to live too. They wanted to live alongside their family. But I would bear the sin of both using the dead as well as killing God. Thus, all of us together laughed, ate lots of beast, and drank lots of sake. And after the final feast, we entered a small cave next to this river. Did you know that our bones are resting right under where I am standing right now? That mountain, I don't know what it is called these days, but it is in a small shrine overlooking that. After all, the fearful god sends the Okami-sama from there.
No, that's... We had no idea.
Well, that is only natural, I suppose. A whole 600 years have passed since then. By the way, this is what we were wearing when we were sacrificed. We were expected to become gods of wolves. That's why the 3 of us ended up being called Okami-sama. Indeed, we were born 6 centuries ago and ascended as gods that ended up defending this place for about a century. We became ancient, fearsome gods. Oh my, oh my, oh my.
Haru-chan, not now.
It's fine, Chikamochi Kamoshida-kun.
Oh, you know my name too.
Of course, Mochi. Understand that she has a right to comment. But can you listen to me a bit more?
Listen, okay?
Okay. And man, Tomiko was a wolf. That's why you came from Saranaga, huh? Yeah. Perfect timing.
Do not mind me and continue, city dweller. No, Father Wolf. You purged me, caused me to fall under the woman servant, and took all of my powers, you detestable brat!
As Haru-chan's voice became dense with rage, those who couldn't understand the situation shuddered. No need for that, God. Please listen. This story upsets us as well. With our divine blessing, the village grew large. However, not everyone was happy. Those who were told to protect our grave were made to live here. There was a barren land with little light, lots of mist, and ground hard to traverse. It was made worse by a battle that happened then, and the blood spilt in the river. The place was fearsome, yet they continued to defend our divinity. It was an honor and a respectable cause. But eventually there was an emotional distance between the people living on the mountain and those living here. Those who lived under harsh conditions and those who prospered began to fight and despise each other. After a long peace, they forgot to respect the ones living here. That was when it happened. The people up on the mountain put poison in the waterways here. That made a lot of people here ill. And to get back at them for this, the people from here willingly changed themselves into something scary. They covered themselves in Saranaga mud and attacked those living up the mountain. I could still remember it. What a horrible event it was. Women, children, elders, everyone was stabbed, torn apart, or hanged. In the end, the victors were the people living up the mountain. They ate well and had greater numbers after all. However, they became afraid of the people here. They had a reason to. We were still on their side. They thought that the mud-covered attackers were our divine wrath. The anger of the Okami-sama, the gods they neglected, and the priests treated as cruel. So they decided that they would steal God. After long plans and many dark conspiracies, they successfully stole our divinity. They took our appearance and even our name. They played with great god, Okami, to create the new name, Shinai. Then they created his servants, snake, monkey, crow, and spider, and split the divine powers among them. Though we couldn't complain much, considering our own power was stolen from the old god. They began worshipping Shinai-sama, the false god, atop the mountain, and made everyone know that they were the rulers of the mountain. They left the people here with the divine remains. We became simple servants. The old god had it even worse. It was called Mujina, the badger, and was quickly forgotten completely. After all, the ones who benefited from this were the families worshipping the four servants, the ancestors of the modern-day village heads. And once our divinity and powers were stolen from us, all that was left was the fear. They were still afraid of the god worshipped by the disgusting rebels. Fear was so significant that they couldn't wash it away. And we became the fearsome divinities you know as Yomotsu Okami. It was a fear and reverence closely tied to this place. That's why I was always here, as a defeated god alongside the old god. We had no powers. Our powers were now being used by Shinai-sama. Shinai-sama from when he was wearing the disguise of the Wolf Guardian, and finally the other four guardians. I'll say it again. We had no powers. We haven't harmed a single person in any feast of the Yomi Purge. We simply watched as people we were supposed to protect died. It was awful.
Awful.
Do you understand yet? The feast of the Yomi Purge is caused by people, not by gods.
But that's...
Yonosuke no Sato-san, your family tried to resist this. Once this is all over, please search beneath your storeroom. You will find records of the Nosato battle that began with your great-grandfather's generation.
But really? The Nosato aren't at fault here?
Not completely, of course. Though unlike the Miguruma, who'd run many feasts and caused many inhabitants of Yasumizu to kill each other, and the Higuchi who acted like nothing happened, the Nosato can still wash away their sins. That will depend on what you do next. You bear the Nosato name, after all. Follow your predecessors and find everything out. A history hidden by human hands can only be revealed by human hands. I understand.
But Okami-sama, the mist is so dense now. Can we really go without holding the feast? I am fearful.
I won't say it's not dangerous here. The Miguruma people will try to make the feast happen. No, they will come after you to stop you. But don't worry. My wife is preparing a way out through Saranaga.
Saranaga? Oh, how fearful.
It will be okay. We are the Yomotsu Okami. Ba-chan, wait! Okay, Takumi-san. I can tell you're not normal. My body's Yasumizu grown and I can tell that you're a god. But that doesn't mean I can believe in you. I understand, Takumi Muru-san. You can't be certain that we aren't deceiving you to steal you back to Yomi. You're the young leader here after all. Of course you would be worried about that. How much do you... I know everything. Of course I did. I knew everyone here. I'd looped around here way too many times not to know. They were all just normal, good people. They bore their poverty in unfair circumstances, while stressfully surviving their days like anyone else. That was why they always killed each other. Okay. Let me finish this with some words for each of you. Now, Okami-sama, it was time for work. I needed your divinity to help me save your adherents. Takumi Muro-san, we know how you buried the victims of the Feast of the Yomi Purge from 8 years ago, without knowing they were such. We know how you protected the problematic little girl, Kami Serizawa-san. We know the strength and gentleness you betrayed by always returning here, even when you caught a disease that almost saw you killed. Even if others don't share that sentiment, we, the ex-protectors of Fushiyoshi, thank you deeply. Your homeland shall eventually develop, and the old will mix with the new. There will surely be problems between them. You will surely waver and be distressed then, but if you believe in yourself and think things through, you will surely find the right path. As long as you are the way you are, God and the mountain will reward you. Please, believe me. All right. Kanzo Makishima-san, we know how you survived 2 feasts and carried those painful memories with you as you protected your granddaughter from the dark hand of Yomi. We know how those memories rendered you unable to even face her. Please, stop. He doesn't know. But don't worry. Your granddaughter is many, many times stronger than you realize. Right, Harumakishima-san?
Oji-chan, I knew. I knew that Mom and Dad died in the feast. That you didn't have a choice.
Haru, I'm sorry. It's all my fault. I'm sorry.
It's okay, so... let's visit their grave. Together. I'm right here for you.
I will stop the feast, So you can stop hiding in the shadows and join hands with your granddaughter and everyone else here. Please believe me. Hi, Yamawaki-san. I saw how serious, sincere, and devoted you were to your faith. Even if Great Lord Shinai and his guardians were just an illusion, I saw it all. Your life is a very precious thing.
Oh. I just wanted to hear that once.
Please be more tolerant of the young ones. And please pass on the true story. And please believe me.
Of course I will.
Kyonosuke no Sato-san, I already gave some words to you. But if I'm to say anything more, you're a capable person, but you should become more open-minded. Ignore who is above and below. You know what it means to advance while holding each other's hands, don't you? You learned that in college. All Yasumisu have a number of talents. Also, it was fun to do all those things with you, so don't degrade yourself so much. What? What do you mean? Nothing. Just... please believe me.
Understood.
Kaori Oribe-san. I don't know any mother who has suffered as much as you. You lost your husband to the feast, then were made to live in a place like this, yet you still raised your sons well.
So he really did. And I was prepared.
So you should really be more proud of yourself, not just your sons. Your sons aren't all that you are, of course. You made everyone here happy with your food. Then surely you can make yourself happy as well. And it wouldn't be fair if the others didn't try to make you happy too. Right, Takumi-san? Yeah, that's right. And Kaori-san, please believe me.
I will, God.
Yasunaga Oribe-kun. I don't know. Should I believe you? At the very least, it doesn't seem rational. Good. That's how you should be. Think and stay alert until the very end. You will pass the path of Yomi and arrive at a safe place. You can't rest easy all the way through. Though you should relax a bit once that's done. You're too tense for someone so young. Try skipping a class or two and search for something that you really want to do. If you do that, you might give yourself time to realize just how much your mother loves you.
Yasunaga.
So you see that too. And when it's all over, please believe me again. Very well. Yoshitsugu Oribe-kun. I ain't believing. Yes, that's perfectly fine for you. You are like your brother. You have a strong sense of responsibility, love your mother, and are very anxious about everything. You're a normal boy, really. And while your brother fights with brains, you can fight with guts. You need to find a place where you can go wild more freely. There's tons of professions that need guts instead of brains. Instead of following your brother, try to chase untrodden land. Also treasure your mother. Though there's a clear bond between you and her, harsh words will weaken it little by little.
Yoshitsugu.
That's a fact. Believe it. All right. Mochi. I've been waiting for this. Good. And honestly, you don't need to believe. Oh? But you're interested in what's gonna happen next, right? Yep. Good. And look forward to it. Though, the thing you're not interested in might lead to something interesting, or just become interesting. It could be feelings, like love. Love, huh? Try facing it head on. Otherwise, if you end up losing something, you won't even notice the pain. You already know everything, don't you? I don't, but I do. Harumakishima-chan. No. God. What is it, Okami-dono? Oh, dono. Let me start by clearing everyone's misunderstanding. Yasunaga-kun. Mochi. This is a real god. Huh? That can't be right. She's our secret Super Haru-chan. Oh no, I said it. Yes, that's how it started out. After losing her parents and getting the cold shoulder from her grandfather, she wanted to get the adults' attention and created... No. Resurrected this god. What do you mean? It's a bit hard to explain. There's God inside of you all. After all, you all were born and grew up in Fushiyoshi, and that was a fact. That is why you can't rebel against us. The guilt from killing us long ago on that misty day had been inherited by you as a memory of God. You also have even older memories of fearing the Dark Mountain and praying for peace. Thus, when Haru-chan tried to create a false mask, God could resurrect from these memories in a perfectly stable form. That was why Haru-chan is both herself and God. Right, Haru-chan? What's the point of revealing it? People will still think I'm simply insane. And you are insane yourself, no, city dweller. You rose thousands of times, arrived here, and are now trying to trick a god. No, Haru-chan. And no, God. Haru-chan isn't insane. I also know how scary God can be. But you have a strong heart that lets you make even that your own. Even if God stops appearing, your strength will never fade. I am certain that only you can save Yasumisu, so become a villain. Be an evil that's free from everyone's idea of what's right, and fly free as you wish. That strength will surely become a driving force, raising up everyone living in this land. I want to see that. Can I really do that? Yes. I saw it with my clairvoyance. Don't be so brazen before me! The clairvoyance was stolen by the snake. This girl's body is mine. Me? Stop appearing! Do not make light of me! The mountain is Yomi, and Yomi is darkness. As long as people live here and continue to fear, I shall never fade. Yes, I know. Huh? Who said anything about making you fade? Huh? If you disappear, who will be the local god when we're gone? Well, I don't think you'll be able to do whatever you want, though. The outside world is full of various gods, concepts, and all that. But even so, this is your garden, and everyone here is your family. You don't have to live as a lonely, forgotten god anymore, do you? Please reinstate yourself. Wait, but I... Huh? Everyone. Starting today, we Okami will no longer be Yasumisu's and Fushiyoshi's gods. We return our Great Lord Shunai's, the Guardian's divinity, back to the newly resurrected ancient god. Please build her a shrine and worship her. Please fear and revere her divinity. She once lost her divinity to the sacrifices, then survived being trampled over by a fabricated god, then joined hands with the sacrifices and bloomed back into divinity. And please speak her name and make sure it is passed down. Oh, and do mention the Okami, the Guardians, and Shinai every now and then. It's important to know your history, and it'd be bad if people forgot. I'm counting on you, everyone. They nodded. Now, you won't have to be so fixated on your fragile human body. Right, God? Please don't cry. Haru-chan will be uncomfortable. My apologies. Also, be kind to the humans. Very well. I promise. Thank you so much. I'm so happy, Sididwa. No, Okami-dono. Oh man, Haru-chan's all teary. I don't have a handkerchief or anything, so use the edge of the dress. Nochi, you literally never change, do you? To the very end, you're the only one who does not fear me. Yeah, you're Haru-chan, even with God. Could you protect me until I have a shrine? Along with Haru-chan. Soon, what do you say? Yeah. She's like a little sister to me. Take care of her. Old man? Do something about those clothes. Leave him alone. Haru-chan? Depends on what you're like. Okay. Also, thanks for everything, Haruaki. Yeah, anyway, that's how it is. Good. Goodbye, Haru-chan. Another thing. Once this is over, take whatever you can within 10 minutes and go to Saranaga. You'll find my wife there. Follow her directions and escape this place. Everyone complied. Also, old man who cried wolf. You stay in the plaza. Huh? Now. Sorry for keeping you waiting. Jamie, said Isawa-san. No! Your life was one of torment at the hands of malicious lowlives who wielded the might of God. I said no! You feared and suffered while clashing with others and seeking more power. You spent your life wanting to be stronger. That's why you began to see us and God. You're not God! Because of this, you gained the right to harm God. God can't be killed! Normally, yes, but it's not unkillable. Give it a name, get rid of its successors, create a hero that qualifies for the cause, and give him or her the right weapon. Basically, make everyone agree. And you can kill a god. I myself give you the right. No! Come to me, my daughter. Okay. I don't want to kill you. I called Mako over and hugged her. Tightly. Now, aim. A sawed-off shotgun slipped out of her sleeve. He couldn't resist at all. Well done on everything you did so far. At this moment, I felt like I was speaking for someone other than me. This is my last wish.
No!
Shoot. The barrel spewed fire, and my body, still holding Mako, soared into the air. Not like I could actually die, though.
Wow, this is so fun!
Seriously, what's going on in that head of yours? It'd be bad if they heard us, so shh.
Shh.
Good girl.
I'm a bit bad.
Wow, you learn fast. Basically, I just bungee jumped backwards the moment Jamie fired. The rope couldn't be too long because we would end up hitting the cliff, so it was only about 10 meters long, but it was a bungee jumping nonetheless. I'd prepared the rope during the little time I had after getting the mask. I only had one shot at this, and it actually worked out. With this, God was dead. Great Lord Shinai, Yomotsu Okami, and the two-faced god of fear and oppression was killed by a fitting stage and a decent plot. He spoke his last words for each of the weak, yet good people of Yasumisu. He understood them well and encouraged them to follow a different path. Yeah, they were. Then he reconciled with the true God, the one giving the dirty name of Badger, and passed on the right. They no longer had a reason to fear the mist, blindly follow the fake laws of the mountain, or kill each other because of some legends. They would never hold the feast of the Yomi Purge again. And I'm going to go and refill my drink. This seems like a good time to do that. So be right back. Alrighty. Now, let us continue. They would never hold the feast of the Yomi Purge again. So, Mission 1. Stopping the people of Yasumisu from killing each other in the feast had been completed. Thank you both. Chiemi, who was so afraid of Great Lord Shinai God, had literally defeated the source of her fear. I could only hope it fixed her murderous side too. Anyway, the sun had sunk. We had to move before it was completely dark. I switched to the other rope I had here and went down to Saranaga. Alright. We'd made it down, but what was I to do with Mako? Considering the story I made up, I couldn't bring her with me. Alright. I'd just make her wait. Mako-chan, can you wait for me behind this rock?
Yeah. How long?
2 or 3 hours. You can sleep if you want, but if someone comes, don't come out.
Okay. But I'm hungry.
You can eat anything in that bag there. There's still lots of sweets there. You can't eat them all normally, but I'll let you do it this time.
Yay!
She ran off. And I turned around. You hear, man? This is crazy. Can't see anything 10 steps ahead. Sheep! You said the act's over, didn't ya? Yeah. Oh. Sorry for the wait, Mitsuji. What the hell were you trying to do with the axe anyway? Well, I thought you missed your axe and tried to chase after me in a weird way, so I figured I'd just ignore you. No point in asking, huh? That's just the kind of guy you are, Haruaki. So, you're as good as your word, huh? I'm saying it's a waste of effort. Behind her, there were 3 rubber boats with oars. So, what's next? A group acting all days is gonna come here soon. Tell them something godlike and keep them safe in some lodging place. The latter part's fine, but what's with the former? Just play along with their superstitions. You know a thing or two about what kind of place this is, right? Yeah. What a pain. Just so you know, you shouldn't act like you did as a convenience store worker. I was only acting like that because of you. Not even I'm that unreasonable. So it was some kinky stuff, eh? I'll fucking kill you. I can ask you about your powers, background, and the organization backing you, yeah? Well, we're never meeting each other again, so there's no point, really. That's what you said the first time we broke up, yet here we are. What was that, anyway? An accident? Yep, that's what I'd like to say. But there's a bond between us and all that. You being serious? Yeah, that's how the world is. There's nothing more reliable than a serious Mitsuji. I'll believe you. And there's nothing more unreliable than a serious-looking you. We laughed. Anyway, let's get serious. I'll be caught by the loop's master soon. You were still bearing it! What the hell? Of course I am! I'm working hard to buy you time. I see, I see. So that's why nothing happened. Thanks. You helped out a lot. Guess I have all the more reason to hurry. Well, do be careful. It feels all you do recently is send me to my death. Death. Well, you helped me out just now, so I hope that doesn't change. Just go back already. I ain't gonna welcome you, but if you die, I'll have trouble sleeping. Roger that. I'll try to survive. Now that I think about it, your death means game over for all of us, so I really don't need you to say anything. That's mean. Oh well, I'll just go. You killed a god first, huh? Yeah, now I'll be doing your job. I'll take on the Master of the Loop. Mission 2. I had to deal with the Master of the Loop, who wanted the monster's resurrection. The one who didn't need as much preparation or acting skill as the first one. All the info I'd gathered over the loops was enough to make me certain by now. I just had to face the person one-on-one and be completely honest. And that was easy. But the person was the problem. I'd probably be walking on a fine line here. I had no idea how well my thoroughness, gut, and verbosity would hold up against the enemies. And once the final mystery was revealed, I wasn't sure I'd have what it took to properly retaliate. What the hell was that? It was something I'd have to consider at that moment. I had to do it. I'm counting on you, Haruaki. I got up on the cliff again and hid near the graveyard. The mist was dense and I couldn't see much, but I was used to it, so straining my eyes helped a lot. I soon saw the people of Yasumizu absent-mindedly make their way down Saranaga. Everyone besides the old wolf guy was there. Good. After confirming that, I went to the plaza. He was standing alone in there. You didn't run or go wild. I'm impressed. Huh? It's fine. Drop the act. It's your job, isn't it? Taking care of such escapees, I mean. Wanted to talk to you. Please stop the act. It'll make things easier. The hell are ya? I can tell you're like me. But it doesn't make sense to think you're with a Miguruma. However... He was putting his hands into his clothes to take out a weapon, surely. Unfortunately for him, I already knew his cards. You destroyed my fortress. I'll get even by killing ya. I'm your disciple. Huh? Well, I won't get into the detail, but basically, without you, I couldn't have saved them. I'm saying I'll let you live because of that, you old fart. His eyes were filled with a silent anger. Well, the police probably won't know what to think about an incident from 60 years ago. And if you have a change of heart and decide to protect Yasumizu, there's really no problem in letting you live. Don't act big on it with me. The Miguruma will start to crumble. today or in any other missed appearance that follows, that means that there might be something good in store for this place. Your job and hideout will be gone. They'll find out about the waterway. And the people of Yasumisu won't ever see you as just senile. What proof do ya? You didn't realize? There were 2 people with guns back there. The one who's not Chamie was aiming at you all this time so they could kill you from up close. You're old. You can only kill people in the mist while wearing a wolf outfit and using the authority of God. If you charge at me, I can easily dodge, get you on the ground, step on you, and kill you. You can only beat me with a surprise attack, or by spiking my drink with a numbing drug. But you can't do that now. Even if you stay here, the locals will be wary of you. This is no longer your fortress. Now you either have to bow to them and have them protect you until you die, or call your Tokyo contact and go elsewhere. One of the 2. This sure got boring. You had plenty of fun, didn't you? No, I'll have a bit more. Dodge this, young'un. He raised his blade, took an unexpectedly fast step towards me, then tripped. I told you. Oh boy. His dagger went through his mouth and into his brain. If Heaven's judgment is slow but sure, and I wanted him to die more painfully, this death doesn't suit a villain like him, The grass is tied. Whose prank is this? Whoever it was, they have my thanks. I don't want them to feel guilty, though, so I'll undo it. Anyway, I was satisfied with the result. I thought about this and that, but as long as he was alive, he'd have always been a danger to someone's life. That was all he'd done his whole life. It was best to accept his death for what it was. Leaving his corpse, I went off where I had to. Of course, he wasn't the one in charge of the dream, so he wasn't my real target. Extra mission. Get rid of the latent threat. The violent old man completed. Mission 2. Dealing with the Master of the Loop, who wanted the monster's resurrection, would begin now. Not in the dining hall or back home, huh? Then maybe here? The culprit's plans must have changed badly because of Mitsuji's hard work. Good evening, Mikako-san. She was right there. Who are you? No need for that. You know everything, don't you? Haruaki Usaishi-sama. I have been waiting. The 2 acquaintances who'd never met exchanged a greeting. It was a very normal greeting, but that was what made it warped and strange. What an honor. But I did not want this. I wanted us to play within the dream. I caught the sheep. No need to worry. I simply took her ability to influence dreams. And that is all. Within the raising loop, you'll become nothing but a powerless observer. You're not denying it. That you're behind everything. I just said I did not want this. But I'm unexpectedly happy about this. Haruaki-sama, you know me so well and spent so many nights and lives just to get here. I'd never expected for this eternal feast to bring me something like this. Thus I wish to ask you, Haruaki-sama, how did you find out that I pull all the strings? Huh? Well, I mean, you weren't there when everyone came. Huh? Is that it? No, not really. Please tell me, how did you discover me? Huh. You'd gone back to the heart of the matter. You'd probably punch me if I said something like, "You're a spider. Of course you're pulling the string." I'd take it seriously. Of course, there were things I didn't understand. Or more like, I understood because I didn't understand them. Though that was kind of complex. It was the spider. The Uematsu guardian and symbol. The spider. Japan had no faiths that revered them. The other guardians had archetypes that were clearly related to mountain religions, even the wolves. The spider, however, wasn't. The Shinai faith was a religion crafted to control. Thus, there was no reason for it to include anything without a clear origin. In fact, it was completely unlikely that a family of prostitutes would use the Jorogumo, a term for orb weavers, as their messenger. After all, that was a yokai, not a god. Though the difference between them was minimal. But God still needed to gather faith. In other words, Jorogumo, Ugumo, and all that were just anomalies. Strange incidences that could appear anywhere. Unless they garnered faith from the locals for many years, were accepted, and could live beyond just words, they weren't gods. However, the Uematsu actually had no divine authority, despite controlling the most mystical section of the Shinai faith. This was strange. Of course, the Uematsu had a weakness in that people looked down on them because of their nature. However, the amounts of suspicion, cruelty, and harshness directed at you was just unnatural. And that was despite being a good person, most of the time, unlike Kyonosuke-san. I wondered why. The Uematsu had divinity in the Shinai faith too. That was when the spider archetype came to mind and turned my question into suspicion. The Uematsu, the spider, might have been some sort of an exception in the Shinai faith, an unnatural entity. It seemed to me that the spider's god could be an outsider that didn't fit in with the mountain faith. The ritual to take in the corruption could have easily been the secret centerpiece behind the whole faith, no? It was a miracle that could cure everything, after all. It was something that any new religion would kill to have. Imagine all the adherents they could gain. And if it was the real deal, any court or dogma with weird origins would forcefully add it to their teachings. That wouldn't have been weird, right? The historical documents prove that many outsiders had come to help create the Shinai faith. Some might have been people from some shrines that wanted to take the snake, monkey, or crow for themselves. Then, they also might have given themselves authority by putting their symbols in their teachings. The current village heads might have been the descendants of such people, though that could have been a stretch. Now, who was to say that the Uematsu ancestors didn't enter the settlement during this time and ram their symbol into the religion? Heretics who believed in a warped god. It was included in the religion, but only on a surface level. The truth behind it had been hidden by the Uematsu and wasn't included. That made everyone here unconsciously feel that there was something unnatural, something wrong about them. Thus, they were looked at with scorn, and that was probably why they could take the disorderly profession of prostitution as their family trade. Though, that was just an assumption. You could tell me if I was wrong later. Next, it was time for doubts about her as a person. I'd experienced the looping phenomenon. At first, I thought it was something that happened once I'd died. But then I realized that wasn't right. I'd keep my bases a secret, but I realized a few things once I thought about the loops that happened without my death. For example, there were loops that happened without me having any memory of dying. I'd underestimated it, thinking that it was only because some memories, especially ones of your death, weren't saved properly. However, there were definitely loops that happened without me ever dying. It was just a general image of the loop that gave me the idea that the mists, death, and rebirth were linked, making me assume that I must have died. When I had thought of it like that, I started thinking that the loop happened not with my death, but with a dreams master. That was the opposite of how it usually was in such scenarios. Normally, the master's death meant the end of the loop, but most people had died many times within all this looping. Looking at it that way, the loop should have stopped a long time ago. The master should have died, yet the loop didn't end. Thus, I began believing that the death of its master activated the loop. That would make sense. After all, they could try it again if they messed up. They could instantly take full advantage of the looping as I'd first thought I had. Of course, it was possible that the culprit was in a safe spot far away, like Kamifujioshi, or just the mountains. That would make them impossible to reach, but they could reach this place all they wanted. Of course, the Miguruma observed Yasumisu from a distance, so they could have done that easily. However, there was something strange. I'd seen so many deaths, but there was one person whose corpse I'd never seen. It was Mako. No matter the route, I hadn't seen her final moments. That made her really shady. She'd seen that ending once, so I figured it wasn't her. She didn't know of the conspiracy. But there was someone else who seemed shady. It was you, Rikako Uematsu. I'd only seen your corpse once, when it was supposedly all over, but you were hanged in the hall. I'd looped soon after. When I tried killing myself then, but looking back at it, the mists were already there before I fell. The looping was strangely linked to the mist. For all I knew, I might have looped without actually dying. Besides that, I'd never seen any of your corpses. You were the only one who left the game in unusual ways. The chief example of that was the Yomi Beetle transformation. You'd gone insane and been locked in. But you stayed alive to be alive, right? Even if your madness was real, it should have been possible for you to survive inside your house for a few days. If that was just some sort of act, you would have drank some water or hidden some food for yourself to survive. Well, I didn't think it was a complete act, but even so, your actions were strange. The reality that you took in the corrupting of the feast actually made my suspicions for you all the more certain. The Yomi Beetle transformation was just you taking Chimi Serisawa's murder penalty for her, right? That had to be impossible. After all, the Feast of the Yomi Purge was an artificial killing spree run by the Miguruma. It wasn't something that could be cured by your ability. However, if there was someone who knew about the cameras, the eye of Miguruma, and was capable of asking for something like that, someone who could bend the rules like that without undermining the Shinai faith, the Miguruma would readily accept their wish to die instead of the actual rule breaker. There had also been one time you'd told me to run. Had you expected for your desire to succeed for the same reasons? While thinking that you looked a bit shady, I'd found even more proof of that. If the culprits were really the Miguruma, like I'd said before, they were surely observing this moment too. They could use their safe position to easily press their loop button or something. I'd consider that the culprit had watched it all from a mountain with clairvoyance or something, and reset everything at certain times. But the culprit seems too naive for that. Anyone who watched enough would easily understand that I'd kept my memories. They would recognize me as dangerous and take care of me. That meant that the culprit had to have the perception of a normal human. Thus, to make something happen in Yasumisu, there had to be someone in Yasumisu. You being the culprit would also explain why you'd prepared Mako a separate place. After all, you knew that the mist was coming. And lastly, you'd said this. Even if we don't meet again tomorrow, let us meet again in a different life, hopefully more peaceful one. That wasn't right, was it? The Shinai faith either denied or forbid resurrection. That was why they said, "Rise not." It was forbidding for something to go to Yomi, then come back. Someone who could say that was either part of a different faith, or knew about the loops. I turned out to be right on that. One more thing. Yeah, this was the line that tipped us off to her knowing about the loops or carrying memories. I do not know what started it, but after seeing you through the shadow of the leaves that day, this was a mistake that I'd made several times myself. You said something based on memories of an event from a previous loop. I did think you were extremely careful in that regard, but you aren't above slipping up. You said those words in the timeline where I moved to Yasumisu. When we'd first seen each other then, you were behind a rock, one of the Okiba at the entrance to Yasumisu, not behind some leaves. And well, that was the day after I'd crashed and ended up in Chiemi-chan's room. Our very first meeting, right? You also had memories of the loops. From your perspective, do you have any other reason to hide that besides the fact that you were the one behind all this? Is that all? Yes. Not enough? No. More than enough. Up until you arrived here, I was very confused about what was happening. The start of the dream, which I had shifted twice, had been returned twice without my permission, and I desperately wanted to fix that. In fact, I did not know the reason why, or have certainty that you and Seisawa-sama had been changing the dream. Though I did consider the possibility when you said that you had already tried it. I knew I shouldn't have said that lightly. If it was true, and you somehow retained your memories, I would have been really happy. We would repeat the feast while we continued to gain new memories. Women like that kind of stuff, huh? We are creatures that can only die for love. Especially us, the Uematsu. They sowed love and lived by feeding off of it. That didn't make sense. It's strange to hear you speak of love. Why? Your god is one of grudges. You know that much. By process of elimination, yeah. It created so many miracles, yet its divinity went unrecognized because it was wretched. The spider god is forgotten. The Uematsu are the Tsuchigumo. You are a descendant of the indigenous people of Ashihara no Nakatsukuni, who were destroyed by the ancestors of this country, the Yamatsukami lineage. Its symbol is an ancient, original sin. The guilt for this sin lies deep within everyone in this country. Our current prosperity was built on a huge massacre from long ago, and most have forgotten it. They feel in danger. It was a weak but fatal, curse-like feeling that engulfs this whole country, and those infected by this are too numerous. If materialized, it could create a catastrophe that could destroy this whole country. In the dream, it was abstractly represented by that monster, right? Well done. She smiled bewitchingly and applauded me. This wasn't the silent, bashful Rikako-san from before. This was an enchanting, shameless Uematsu. Her mask as a prostitute. No. I didn't know which one was the mask at this point. Indeed, we are a grudge-soaked clan that let the Tsuchigumo of dreams inhabit this body. She'd been acting bashful while hiding this sentiment in her heart. Our desire is the death of all people of Yamato. With that as her sole goal, he'd praise the devotion and sacrifice of the people of Yasumisu and use them. You and the sheep would once reverse the fulfillment of this desire, are both detestable and lovable. I don't know what you mean. Hate me. You'd already arrived there. Plus, if I stop your memories at that point and make it so you don't remember anything else, you will surely reach the same ending. I couldn't deny that. When that happens, oh, I actually love you so much I can't bear it. I have to thank you for giving me a chance to bear myself to you in such a way. My heart and mind are so happy now. The sudden switch in tone and the content of her words made me dizzy. To me, she was actually more enchanting, adorable, and beautiful than ever. You only love those who help you fulfill your desire. No. Spiders are greedy. We love all that we can eat. I'm not being contradictory. I really do love you. I hate the people of Yamato, but even that is lovable at this point. If I get to burn and consume them all, oh. She rubbed her abdomen. I would call them all to a dream of hellish joys. I would melt, love, and play with 100 million accompanying me without end. So, I really do love everyone. The spider's archetype was the Great Mother. That was what this reminded me of. Especially you. She suddenly looked away like she was bashful. The situation was abnormal, but the gesture was one that could shake the core of any man. I don't understand. This is beyond me. You will eventually. You're aware, aren't you? Of the conditions to bring back the Tsuchigumo of dreams. I don't. Your goal is the resurrection of that monster. But I have no idea why you have to repeat the feast for that. There's literally nothing linking the two. All I know is that the moment the monster awakened happened under very special circumstances. By that I mean that all the Fujiyoshi people who were in Yasumizu when the mists were out had died. Except for you. Oh, you noticed that much. I knew it. If that was your goal, I could understand why you planned this complicated roundabout event. The Uematsu have no way of killing many people. Even if you killed one or two, you couldn't complete the job with your frail arms. There's also the fact that the Uematsu are shunned, so you can't survive the feast. Yes. That's why you use a time period in which they kill each other. And if you fail, you restart. Yes, I know that much. That was where the final secret lay. It pissed me off, but I had to ask her directly. But I don't understand. There's nothing in the legends linking the Tsuchigumo's revival with Yasumizu or Kami Fujiyoshi. There's no relation between the Okami and the Tsuchigumo either. All I can think of is that this is a massacre that utilized the feast. However, even so, I don't understand why the people of Fujiyoshi had to be sacrificed. I thought it might have had something to do with the amount of Yasumisu, Yomi, people who died, but that didn't add up. That doesn't explain why Kyonosuke no Satoshi had been invited to the feast. Why him? His nature? Because of the numbers? Or was he necessary as a person? At the very least, he'd been ordered to live here by his family. It was someone's intent, clearly. But whose? Yours? Then why did you just sacrifice such a strange group? It's weird, mysterious, warped, unnerving, unsettling, unreasonable, incomprehensible, and so scary I can't bear it. It's last mystery. Why do you have to kill them? Okay, that startled me. Oh, okay. Because I'd made love to each of them once. All of them? That voice. That smile. They were both those of a monster. Oh, this is such an awesome image. Oh no, I like how you can see the symbol in her hair. The Uematsu are a warped people. The grudge of the clan is profound, but we had to use it and its warped practices to survive. That's what you know as our ability to take in. The Tsuchigumo of dreams living within. We heads of the Uematsu is the manifestation of this grudge. To gather more grudge and make it swell, we reap and consume all the evil, sin, and filth. We trick the great spider of corruption, bleeding out and getting rid of the diseases we take to prevent the spider's resurrection. So that's why she was covered in blood after taking something in. Thus, the head women of Uematsu continue to live on in this country as useful tools that healed everything. And that is how the family declined. You forgot your mission and desire and used a divine power in the completely opposite way? Yes, I did. Well, there was no way the great spider wouldn't notice such trickery. It secretly, slowly gathered diseased, birthed its children, then let them escape. Then it would gather it again and repeat. The Tsuchigumo of dreams, the heads of the Uematsu family, used this to get around the bleeding in the clan's eyes to gather corruption. And now, right as the family is about to die out, it finally gathered enough to come back. All that's left is retrieving it. So when you say you made love to them, I mean it's literally, and I put my children in them. Oh man. What a disgusting truth. I heard that the Uematsu worked hard at purification when there was a cholera. Oh, I heard the Uematsu worked hard at purification when there was a cholera outbreak here in the settlement. But there was no way you could die, assuming your power is real. And you had to be very young back then. Indeed. Don't expect the heads of this village to care about something like that. Shit! I heard that Kaori-san was very sick when she birthed Yoshitsugu-kun. That she almost died. I used my mouth to take in all the pain and corruption in her blood. Shit! So you also took it from Haru-chan when she was going through the wolf possession? Yes, Mujina-sama was very adorable. She benefited from what I was doing, so she silently allowed the spider's resurrection. If the law of the Amatsukami is broken, the mountain's darkness and the Yomi's darkness would rule again. Oh, how wonderful. Shit! The old wolf guy is a huge scumbag. He might have done something by force. I don't want to remember that. Chikamochi Kamoshida. Of course. I took in from him when his family were worried about his eccentricity. He was so cute. We got along well in Kami Fujiyoshi, if you understand my meaning. That little... What about Yasunaga-kun? He was a bit cute, so I slept with him when he was visiting Kami Fujiyoshi. You're the lowest! Don't worry. He thinks it was all a dream. Last one. Chami Serisawa. Chami Miguruma. You took in from her when she was bitten by the rabid dogs they kept, didn't you? Oh, God. Yes, indeed. Why did you hide that from her? Because that was the promise I made when I came under Shinai-sama's rule. Oh boy. Shinai-sama's corruption is divine punishment. We cannot allow you to take it. So I couldn't. Or I just didn't. You knew this, of course. Chami doesn't remember it, though. She was so surprised she forgot it all, it seems. Of course, you knew about the necklace, too. So that means that when you said something like you'd seen it for the first time, it was just an act. Yes, an act that saved you. So all the help you gave me and Chami had an ulterior motive. You felt that we were special. Yes, yes. I didn't know the reason, but I could clearly see that you had the power to change the flow of the loop. Before you came, I thought that I could reach the ending I wanted by making her an ally. As a result, you'd continuously giving Chami a good impression, making her less suspicious. If Chami, someone who could keep her memories, found out that she was the bad guy, her conspiracy would become impossible to achieve. But she didn't get there. Yes, she wasn't good enough. That's why you were nice to me instead. As I already said. It's because I find you lovable. You released my children and sent them to me out of simple curiosity. You were a wise, gracious, sinister wolf with a warped heart. Come with me. Let us enjoy endless pleasure on the path to Yomi atop the great spider. Path to Yomi? Oh boy, that was a lot. Damn. God damn. Like, at a point it had become obvious it was her, but I was not expecting that particular personality and the confession of what she had done to all the residents. Hello, dear. Welcome to the stream. Unfortunately, I was just about to end, but yeah, I'm a little. The brain has stopped working. Oh boy. So actually, Binks, I'll ask you quickly, since I'm just curious. Do you know roughly how many hours we have left of the game? I just want to know if I should plan to continue on Sunday, or if you think we might wrap things up on Wednesday. Oh boy. Alrighty, that's good to know. But yeah, we will go ahead and end things right here after that whole a bit completed. And we'll be back with more of this on Wednesday at 8 p.m. EST. Oh, he did? Oh, okay. So he probably just let the voice acting go and then right afterwards. Of course, everyone. Thank you all so much for coming. It's great to have your reactions and see your theories. Hope you all have a wonderful time zone wherever you are. And as always, please take care of yourselves and each other. Toodaloo-hoo!